Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Ideapod's very first global Google Hangout. We're really pleased to have you here, and we're so pleased you've managed to tune in. My name's Justin Brown. This is Mark Backus, and we're the two founders of Ideapod.
Hi everyone. Well, first of all, just thank you from Justin and I for joining this Hangout. We'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our team. So Peter, Gallagher, Richard, and Uri, the dev and design team, Zoe, Brooke, and Jacob, our interns, who do an amazing job, and our advisors, Jeremy Waite, Jeremy Sinclair, and Amir Dossel. Just wanted to say thank you to you all publicly on this first occasion for our Google Hangout. But really what we want to say is thank you to all of you, because Justin and I and the whole team was really inspired to build the place on the web for ideas for you, our community. And we're so pleased that, that you've all been enjoying it, and that you've all been engaging with our beta, and that you've been giving us such valuable feedback. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for that. It really is the reason why we get up in the morning, so it makes a huge difference to us to see the platform being used and for you to be engaging with it. We like to be brief at Ideapod. I don't think we can do this call in 1,000 characters, but we are going to try and keep it to 20 minutes or half an hour. So the format of this will be Justin will talk a little bit about the vision of Ideapod and why we think that matters, and your role in all of that. I will talk about what we've learned from our beta. We're 5 months into our beta, so you know, you've all given us some great feedback, and we'll let you know what that is and what we plan to do about it. And then finally, you know, we'll be taking questions. So that's the format. And Justin, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, thanks, Mark, and thanks so much everyone for joining us and being part of the Ideapod community. Also, as you probably know, we're on @ideas on Twitter. We're pretty active on Facebook. A huge thanks to Lachlan Brown, actually my brother, for managing the community through the channels on Facebook and Twitter and everything. I know many of the Ideapod community members have seen their ideas being broadcast there, so a huge thanks for that. But yeah, most importantly, thanks everyone for participating in what we're calling the open ideas sharing revolution on the web. So why have we decided to create Ideapod? We really, what we can see out there is that there's a huge amount of information being created online and being shared on various social media channels. So we've got so much happening on Twitter right now. Tweets are flying everywhere. Everything's on Google, and it's really hard to find what you're looking for. And then I know on Facebook, my feed, it's certainly not the most inspiring feed that I can really imagine. And there's just a huge churn of information, but we think it's really hard to find information with meaning and substance, information that actually inspires us. So we feel this is a little bit unfortunate, because we're in the midst of a communication revolution where information is being shared at the speed of light, and we've got so much opportunity to connect with like-minded people, people that can actually share the same ideas as us, the same visions on what needs to happen, the same visions of positive change. So we created Ideapod as an idea blogging platform where you can share your ideas in 1,000 characters or less, and it gives you a chance to put forth some kind of positive vision for change. You may try and change someone's mind or shift someone's perspective. Whatever the case may be, you put your ideas out there, and you can find like-minded people that share your passion for creating a similar type of change in this world to you. So that's what we've created with Ideapod, and I think that this this slide displays how we see Ideapod in terms of what we're creating. So this is where Ideapod is an idea blogging platform in 1,000 characters, and soon you'll have the chance to create 40-second selfie videos via a mobile app, and more on that shortly. So we see Twitter's a place for fleeting content. You've got blogging platforms like Medium for longer form blogging. and you've got Ideapod for idea blogging. So that's what we've created. And I'll just come back here. And in terms of the vision of Ideapod, this slide here really describes where we're taking Ideapod. So the point about ideas is that ideas are an opportunity for you to express some kind of vision for the future, or for you to imagine a different way of seeing things. So it's all about imagining different ideas and putting them out there on a blogging platform to connect with like-minded people. So ideas are very future-oriented. And we see that Google is really, really effective at organizing all of the different data points that are out there on the web. So Google organizes all of the information there, all of the links. You can find whatever you're looking for in Google. Twitter was really disruptive to Google by organizing information in real time. So basically, whatever's happening right now in various conflict zones around the world, or what's happening in your local town, your local community, you can go to Twitter and find out what's happening right now. And that was really disruptive to conventional search. So Twitter was really revolutionary for being able to provide this real-time search engine. And what we're trying to bring to the world is the very first search engine for the future, where we harness the power of all of our imaginations in actually imagining what can be as we start to move into this 21st century and create a social media platform that can inspire us to create positive change. So that's a bit on Ideapod, what the platform is and where we see this going. And I think in terms of what we've learned from the community and the experience so far, Mark has a few words to share.
Yeah, so let me see if I can share a screen with you as well. Okay, maybe not. Justin, can you see that slide?
No, I think you just have to go ahead without it.
That's fine. So, Sergey, Bryn, Larry, Paige, if you're on this call, maybe you can help me out with this, but otherwise I'm going to proceed without the slide. So basically, we're 5 months into our invitation-only beta. So we launched on the 20th of February, and since then, we've had an amazing reception, and the community, as all of you know, has grown on Ideapod a lot. We do still have our invitation-only barrier up, and we are trying to curate a community of forward-thinking idea sharers, and we have really, really high engagement on the site. So people are spending many, many minutes on each visit, and we have a very, very large number of our users actually creating content compared to other platforms. So in many ways, our beta has been a success and has definitely proven the initial traction that we wanted it to prove. But the main purpose of the beta for us, of course, is to learn from you, our users, what is it that you want Ideapod to become, what is it that you like about Ideapod, and what should we get rid of? And we've come to some preliminary conclusions about that. So thank you all for your activity on the site and for all of your emails. And just on that, if you do have any suggestions, please do email us at founders@ideapod.com. We do read every email and respond to every email. So if you have thoughts on what you'd like to see Ideapod become or features that you would like, please let us know. Founders@ideapod.com. So really what we, building on this idea that Ideapod should become the home on the web for ideas, it needs to be an idea-centric platform. So one feature that many of you have asked for is collaborative idea boards. And if you can think, you can imagine a Pinterest-style pin board, but with ideas on it, that's very much the vision that we have. It's a way for people to organize ideas that they like, so their favorite ideas, but also ideas in categories on boards with headings of their choice. and people will be able to choose whether they make these boards public or private. Another feature that people have requested is draft ideas. People have ideas, but they're not ready for public consumption. They want somewhere to put them before they publish them, and to work on them before they publish them, and perhaps even share them with a smaller community of people before they publish them to the public site. So we're calling that feature draft ideas, and that's feature number 2 that we'll be implementing. Another thing many of you have complained about is not being able to find each other. And of course, being a community, it's very important that we can find each other. So one thing we can do to remedy that is to implement app mentions. So when you're commenting on an idea, when you're creating an idea, you'll be able to mention other users who you think might have a relevant response point of view, or just would be interested in reading that idea. We'll have an activity feed which will enable you to see blow by blow what's going on Ideapod with the ideas that you've posted, with the ideas you've favorited, and the ideas that you've engaged with. And perhaps most importantly, the feature that most of you have asked for is an app. We know that 75% of our users will probably be using Ideapod on their mobile phones, and already a large percentage of you do, despite the fact that the app has not launched. The app is scheduled for release in November, and we're very excited about it. It's going to be an app that enables you to share video content as well as text. And building on the idea of 1,000 characters, we're going to limit the video content to 40 seconds. And we have some pretty cool features which we'll announce closer to the time, which should make sharing ideas in this format really cool and engaging. So those are the features that we have planned, and we plan to implement all of those features over the next 6 months. We will remain in a closed beta for now, and we don't have any update about when we're coming out of a closed beta. Our growth rates are really, really high, perhaps even higher than we had anticipated that they would be. And I think it makes sense for us for now to really keep learning from a small community of users that are very engaged, rather than scaling to a very large community, which is something we'll do once we feel that all of the features that you've requested are there, and that the community is engaging with Ideapod in a way that everyone would like. So Justin, do you want to talk about the upcoming Kickstarter, and then perhaps we'll answer some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Mark mentioned, we're going to build Ideapod's mobile app. And something we've been really heartened by is the real passion of the community members of Ideapod so far. So what we've decided to do is to turn to the community of Ideapod in helping us create the mobile app together. And we're going to begin that process with a Kickstarter campaign. We're planning to launch that sometime in September, and we've already actually filmed the video for it. Thanks to many of the community members who have helped us out with that already. And it's actually Jason Silver's Shots of Awe team that are helping us produce that video and manage the whole campaign. So again, a huge thanks to Jason Silver. I know many of you have found your way to Ideapod through Jason Silver's really amazing Shots of Awe videos. So with the help of the Shots of Awe team, we're hoping to create a really amazing, inspiring, and ultimately successful crowdfunding campaign for September and October to create the app. And of course, the contributors to the campaign will be the first to get access to the app as well. So we're really excited about that. That's coming soon, and please stay tuned.
Great. Questions?
So yeah, in terms of, we've got a list of questions here that we're really excited to respond to. I believe you're able to continue, for the listeners of this Hangout, continue creating more questions. And I know that it's the questions that get the most upvotes that rise to the top. So we will start to work our way through these questions. We'll try and keep our answers brief so we can get through as many as possible. So as a first question, I'm going to select it here. It's by Sahal Mahmood, and it's how can how can we make a difference using Ideapod to sensitize the citizens of the world on significant global issues like climate change, violent conflicts, and global crimes? So it's a really great question, and as we mentioned before, ultimately this is how we see Ideapod playing a real role using social media to inspire people to create change. And I think the very first step in creating change is that we need to actually share our ideas really freely. We need to be able to speak to each other about what we think ought to happen in this world and how we think we should do things. So these are very future-oriented statements. And when we start to agree and share like-minded ideas, that's where our change gets accelerated. So in terms of the current beta platform, at the moment, to answer the question, I would say please keep on sharing your ideas about the change that you would like to see in the world, and specifically on climate change, violent conflicts, and global crimes, as you've said, Sahal. So keep on sharing those ideas. You'll find like-minded people. Spread it on social media. And we're really excited to see the features that Mark mentioned before start to get introduced into the platform, which is really going to help us collaborate together in turning these ideas into action. So we've got a second question here by Jerry Michalski. Mark, can you see that question there?
I can. Yep, I'm happy to answer it. So what's the right UI for ideas? What's the right user interface for ideas, especially ideas you want to be shared socially? Well, you know, that's the challenge that we're trying to meet, is what is the user interface which is best for idea sharing. I think a short format, and we've chosen 1,000 characters, seems to be working well, is the right format for sharing an idea, because frankly people have short attention spans and they get bored if it's very long. And the same with 40-second video ideas. So we think that's the right interface. In terms of engagement, what we've noticed is that people are clicking from idea to idea. So it's not that people are spending a short amount of time on the site. They're actually visiting one idea and then another that's related, often to the first idea. And they're engaging with all of those ideas. So I think because ideas, you know, Jason Silver says ideas are the new replicators. They kind of multiply and have sex. And that's really the interface which we think is right for Ideapod, because people have so many ideas, and other people's ideas are often spawned by an initial idea. So we know that all the best ideas are built on the shoulders of many others. So having an interface which enables engagement around many different ideas on a related subject is a great way for people to reach conclusions about the kind of ideas that they might like to implement or pursue, or even just comment on or share. In terms of sharing, you can already share your ideas from Ideapod onto Facebook and Twitter, and many of you do that. Ideapod also pushes out a lot of ideas through our own social media, and you might have noticed that Ideapod has more and more channels for that. So if you haven't already, we have 4 or 5 channels on Facebook. If you do a search for Ideapod, they should come up. Ideapod Global Issues, Ideapod Mind and Body, as well as the main Ideapod page. And of course, we're on a lot of other social media as well. So we like to think of ourselves as the home for those ideas and to be pushing them out across other platforms.
So the next question we've got, which is by Roger Sengupta, and the question is, how do we propose that we protect our ideas? As you know, I also hear a lot of folks are grabbing other ideas from crowdfunding sites, the VC world, and alike. How will this be governed here at Ideapod? We encounter this question a lot, and the kinds of ideas being shared on Ideapod are the sorts of ideas that indicate your passion for a subject. So rather than sharing your game-changing, patentable innovation that you may want to keep secret to build in private, the kinds of ideas being shared on Ideapod are more about the subject in which your innovation may occur. So for example, a lot of people are very passionate about renewable energy, and someone may come up with a really game-changing idea for a new wind turbine to create electricity in wind turbines. So you wouldn't share the key secret to your idea on Ideapod, but you would share your passion for renewable energy, wind turbines, inventions and things like that. And you'd have a chance to build a community around the vision of your change that you think is really important. So these are very public-facing, open sharing ideas. Tesla is a great example of an advocate of this approach, where they've open-sourced a lot of their patents so that others can build upon their ideas and we can create a better world together. And that's what Ideapod's all about. Down the line, we do anticipate having private areas of the site so that people can develop those game-changing innovations in private. But right now, the sorts of ideas we'd recommend you share are the ones that you want the world to see, because you actually passionately want to inspire people with your perspective. So thanks, Roger, for that question. And we'll go to the next question by Jeremy Waite. Mark, do you want to give that a shot?
Sure. So thank you, Jeremy, for that question. Do you have any more insights around crowdsourcing innovation or larger organizations or brand pages so companies can get involved and inspired? Well, Jeremy, as I know that you know, many organizations are really interested in joining this open idea sharing revolution, and Tesla, I think, Justin, was a great example of an organization which is spearheading that. The more that organizations share, the more transparent they become, the more they are seen to be innovative. This is all a great thing for those organizations. And certainly, we, at the moment, organizations can create accounts and post as organizations on Ideapod. We do not have a specific strategy targeting those kinds of organizations. We feel that the right organizations are already coming to Ideapod and pushing out that kind of content, and we welcome it. We think it's a great thing. In terms of brand pages, what we have is user profiles. We haven't talked about this yet, but one of the revisions we'll be making over the next 3 to 6 months is a revision to the user profile page. So there'll be, basically that page will show more of your activity. It will be a better way to brand yourself, if you like, as an idea sharer. It will show the collections of ideas that you've collected on boards and the like. And certainly, if there is demand, we will look at tailoring that to brands. But right now, I think we're all about grassroots open idea sharing, and to the extent that brands want to do that and get involved, which they are, we really welcome it.
Thanks, Jeremy, for the great question. Next question we have by Joe Mondello. And the question is, do you have any plans to create private work group spaces, either free or for a fee? I would love a dedicated space to work on ideas with friends and invitees before going public. So we've got a number of plans in place to help create private areas. The first for an individual is that we're going to have a draft feature really soon, which will enable you to work in private on your own ideas until you're ready for them to be released for the public. Secondly, we do see private areas in Ideapod down the line as one of the features to be introduced later, so that you and a few like-minded people can collaborate and decide what ideas you actually want to release into the platform, because you might want to wait until they're actually ready to be shared. And thirdly, we know that a lot of organizations have come to us and have said that they would like to white label the whole platform and use it for their own internal innovation, either internally to just the organization or across specific and targeted networks of people to start crowdsourcing innovation across their own communities. So this is something that we know a lot of organizations would like to do. It's not something that we're actively pursuing right at this stage because we're so focused on ideapod.com and growing the community there. But it is something that we are looking at and that we're aware that a lot of people would like to see. So thanks, Joe, for that question. And we have the next question by Jim.
So Jim Cast-Keat, thanks so much for the question. Will the 40-second video ideas be bound to the website, or will they be able to be embedded and shared on other web platforms like YouTube and SoundCloud? The way that Ideapod works even now is that obviously once you create your idea, you have a link which can be shared anywhere you would like on the web. And certainly we see that to be the case with the video app as well. So the overarching answer to your question is yes, they can be shared. In terms of what that looks like, in terms of sharing on SoundCloud and what have you, we will integrate with other platforms to the extent that there is demand, so that users can actually just one-click post their ideas to other platforms. But certainly the content is not bound to Ideapod in any way.
Thanks, Jim, for the question. The next question is by Jacob Cohen. And the question is, how is Ideapod funded? And how do you guys plan to become a profitable platform? So Ideapod, we're very fortunate to have some very supportive investors that are backing Ideapod. Initially, Mark was actually a lawyer before founding Ideapod, and I was an academic. And it was actually a couple of years ago that we left these careers behind, and we managed to get a lot of what people in the industry say are friends, family, and fools to invest in Ideapod. And in the early days, these people were investing on a vision into a platform that didn't actually exist. So we're really pleased to have come so far and to have gotten Ideapod off the ground and to have achieved the growth rates that we've managed to achieve. And we're so pleased to in turn, we hope, be supporting our investors in realizing this vision. So we do have a number of investors behind us, and we are in active discussions with a number of venture capital firms and private equity investors about funding Ideapod and helping us scale it in a more extensive way. So we're very lucky to have that supportive network behind us. In terms of how we plan to become a profitable platform, at the moment, we're entirely focused on building something amazing that the users just love. And we're so pleased to see the average time on site, which is our key metric, to be so high, which means that when people come to Ideapod, they actually stay there a long time and engage in discussions. So we're actually completely focused on improving the user experience and rolling out the features that are going to help people share ideas and turn them into action. We know that there's many ways for a platform like Ideapod to make money, and while we're certainly aware of those different methods we have of making money, it's not our highest priority right now. So thanks, Jacob, for the question. Mark, do you want to take this next one?
Sure. There's been talk about a mind map for Ideapod. What would this look like, and how would those on Ideapod use it? So the challenge that we need to meet here, and it's not one we anticipate we'll meet, frankly, in the next number of months. It'll take a while to get to the bottom of how to do this best. But eventually, and of course, as there are more and more ideas, it's going to become even more interesting to see how ideas are connected to each other. So right now on Ideapod, you can see related ideas along the right-hand column. We're showing ideas with 1 degree of separation. What would be really interesting, we think, is to see one central idea and then all of the ideas that are connected to it by 1 or more degrees of separation, in a way that users can actually kind of scroll around to see. It could be lines and nodes. It could be an interface where you click to the left and click to the right, click up and down. These are all things that we're thinking about and working on. If you have any great ideas about how you would like to visualize these ideas, please let us know. Obviously, another really great way to visualize ideas is on an idea board that's been curated by somebody or a group of people. So that will be a feature that is rolled out with the collaborative boards that are coming. So we don't have a great answer to this question, but we definitely are working on it. And if any of you have any great ideas, we'd love to hear them at founders@ideapod.com.
Thanks, Christine, for that question. The next question we have is, who is your ideal user now and for the future of Ideapod? I asked this thinking of the way that Twitter evolved and continues to evolve to diverse user bases. I think that ultimately we began Ideapod thinking that it is relevant to everyone. And the reason for this is that we all have ideas that are really important to us about our own lives, our own communities, sometimes about the world. Sometimes they're big picture ideas, sometimes they're small picture ideas. We all have ideas that we want to share, and we really believe that when you share your ideas more freely and more openly, you actually connect with like-minded people, and your experience of life is a lot better. And I'll always remember listening to talkback radio in Melbourne growing up. And we listened to talkback radio about Australian rules football. So that was our really big local sport that was really popular back home. And you'd get people ringing up, and these people may not have been the most educated people in the world, and in many cases they may have been. But what we found is that everyone had a really well thought out vision for how their local football team needed to manage their strategy better, manage their resources better, manage talent management, and have some really complicated ideas about what actually needed to happen. And it always struck me that everyone has ideas and wants to create some kind of change, and we just need a place to actually share those ideas. So I think Ideapod is really relevant to everyone. At the moment, we've found that there's a lot of people interested in futurist type issues like singularity or consciousness, sharing ideas on Ideapod, and there's a great community already there in these areas, which we love to see. But we'd love to see Ideapod expand and have ideas from all walks of life being shared.
Thank you. So I think we'll make this our final question since we're going for half an hour. It's probably a good one to end on. Where do you see Ideapod in 5 years? Great question, Brooke, and thank you for that. We really see Ideapod as expanding. So what we have built is at ideapod.com is the beginning of what we hope will become the open idea sharing revolution, with great ideas commingling with each other, people picking up great ideas, building on them, both on the platform and off the platform. And already we are pushing those ideas out through social networks other than Ideapod to achieve our mission of helping people to find the great ideas that exist on the web. And part of that, of course, is getting the ideas out of people's heads, as Justin talked about. And everybody has great ideas. So really building the home on the web for ideas. And what does that look like? Well, what it looks like now is Ideapod.com, an open idea sharing platform. All of the Ideapod social channels, which are pushing these ideas out. The app, which will enable people to actually share on the go, on the fly ideas, which might be just thoughts that they, aha moments that they capture, or something that they want to capture either for themselves or for a public audience, so that we capture more great ideas. I can see Ideapod moving into salons, publicly hosted salons. We've already hosted 3 of them in New York. And if you're ever in New York, please let us know, because we do host them roughly weekly. So there are so many ways in which Ideapod can become a home for ideas, but we would like it when people think about the web to think about Ideapod as that home. So if you think about Google as organizing the world's information, the world's knowledge, if you think about Twitter as organizing real-time information, we want Ideapod to be the platform where people are forward-thinking, thinking about the future, the big ideas, the things that are going to change our world for the better, and all of the ideas that people have, which perhaps if they were shared would generate even a small ripple across the world, and to enable our humanity to become, the world to become more humane, the world to become a better place. You know, we are a very socially conscious platform, and that is really a big part of what drives us. So anything that is in line with that vision, I think we will actively pursue over the next 5 years, and we would love to say that in 5 years' time, many of the great ideas that have been posted to Ideapod are actually created in the world.
So thank you everyone for joining us. We really appreciate you taking out the time. Thanks so much for joining Ideapod and being one of the early adopters. I know we've missed a lot of questions. They're really starting to stream in continually at the moment. If you, for people where we haven't been able to answer your question, if you could go to ideapod.com and log in and actually post the question, we'll answer it over the next day or two. So you'll definitely get an answer to all these questions, and we can all actually weigh in and have good discussions on Ideapod. So please do go ahead and continue posting your questions there. And thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much to all of the team members, all of the community, and thanks, Mark, for being on the call as well. And we'll see you on Ideapod.
See you on Ideapod.
Bye.